But let's, of course, start with what is happening in the United States of America, whereas the 2026 U.S. midterm elections are approaching next year. President Donald Trump's every move is under growing scrutiny. From approval ratings to public views on many of his key policy issues, polls are starting to reflect as to what Americans actually think and feel about his leadership over the course of the last 8 months. Now, according to the latest survey that was conducted by the Harvard Capps Harris poll, the Americans apparently don't have a very positive opinion of Trump's presidency so far. Now, nearly half of the respondents said that the United States is apparently not on the right track. 53% said that Trump is leading the economy in the wrong way. Inflation has dethroned illegal immigration as the top issue for the Americans. Meanwhile, 55% of the participants believe that Trump's tariffs are harmful to the American economy. Now, Trump's overall approval ratings are also on a steady decline. 47.3% of the Americans are apparently not satisfied with Trump's overall performance as president. His approval ratings now stand at about 44.7%. Now, Trump has intensified his so-called crime crackdown in recent months. He has deployed the National Guard troops in the U.S. Capitol and is mulling to repeat the same in several other high-profile American cities. Now, according to the Emerson College poll, 48% of the Americans say that they don't agree with Donald Trump's move. That is 4% more than the people who support this decision. On the political front, Trump is pushing the Republican states to carry out what is effectively partisan map redrawing. The move aims to help the Republicans win more seats in upcoming midterm elections when the control of the House will be on stake. Now, this has triggered a domino effect across the United States, with the Democrat-ruled states also now announcing some tit-for-tat map redrawing. Now, partisan gerrymandering also lacks support on the ground. In California, more than 53% of the respondents believe that it's a bad idea. In the Republican-ruled Texas, the public sentiment remains the same, with more than 56% of the people saying that it is a bad idea. Now, all this political tug-of-war is aimed at a decisive victory in the 2026 midterm elections. But according to the polls, the race remains near the tie between the blue and the red camp. And the voter support is split at 43% mark, with 13% of the voters still undecided. From tariffs to remapping borders and National Guard troops being deployed to quell crime, Trump aims to win the first referendum of the 2026 midterms. But with the race being as close as it is, the control of the House seems like a pretty tough game in the days ahead. All right, now to give us more details in terms of what's in fact playing out about Donald Trump's approval ratings of his performance in the course of the last 8 months, we're joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live from New York. Susan, so these are opinion polls which are giving us the mood of the nation in America. Give us a sense, some of the key issues of Donald Trump, such as his tariff war, such as his strident anti-immigration rhetoric and the actions that he's followed through with. Are these the main issues that the American people want the president to be focused on, or is he losing sight of other key issues such as the cost of living and inflation, where the Americans perhaps want their president to be more focused on?
It was a very interesting poll, and what I found interesting is still the top of voters' minds, 33%, is the economy, followed by the threat to democracy, which is 24%, immigration and healthcare, immigration at 12%, and healthcare at 9%. What was fascinating about this poll was that while Americans are almost equally divided about deploying National Guard troops to cities to fight crime, for the most part, it appears that Americans aren't dismissive of that. They're opposed to deploying National Guards to different cities, more than 19 cities, to help ICE agents on immigration crackdown. So it's very nuanced. While you see immigration is still on top of voters' mind, how these policies are implemented is where you see a very wide distinction, that they do want immigration crackdown, they want illegals out, they want border security, but they think that deploying National Guard troops to help immigration and ICE agents is a step too far. But they don't see it that way for National Guards to be deployed. They're very divided. to fight crime. Of course, the issue of tariffs is on everyone's mind. This is more something that is being foreseen as opposed to really implemented in everyone's daily lives. There is a growing concern that these tariffs are ultimately going to catch up, notably as the Christmas holiday season is just a few months away. That hasn't happened yet, but you can see that the sentiment is there among the American public. Nonetheless, the issue of inflation is also on everyone's mind, despite the fact that inflation is significantly lower than, for example, 2022. Perception matters. Again, it's tied to the tariffs. There is this wide concern that everyday commodities are just going to get more expensive because of these tariff policies, something the Trump administration has to keep an eye on.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with all those details there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.